This is a remarkable section of Torah because I think it addresses us today on Yom Kippur. This is Yom Kippur. We are here. Jews all over the world make sure we don't miss this day, and we are here today. Why? What does it mean for us to be Jewish? What does it mean to be reading Torah? And Torah says that being Jewish is two sides of one same coin, which is ceremonies and ethics. Kedoshim, being holy, is about keeping Shabbats and keeping our sacred times and keeping all the rituals and all our traditions that we keep as Jews. But that's only one side of the coin. The other side, and we will see much more of that side now, is those ceremonies are here to inspire us to then do the one thing that we are asked to do. Do what's right. Do what's right here, do what's right there. That's the one question. And if something is not right, make it right. That's the core of being Jewish. Speaking of doing right and just, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I learned recently that when she was in Jewish summer camp, she was called the rabbi camp, the camp of the rabbi of the camp. And she was learned, and she put it very simply in one sentence. She said in an interview not too long ago that for her, growing up as a Jew, a proud Jew, what she learned is that we are taught to do justice, tzedek, tzedek tirdof, pursue justice, and seek enlightenment. And that's it, justice and enlightenment. I want to quote to you from Rabbi Salanter. This is a rabbi from Lithuania in the 19th century, and he said, well, of course, spiritual matters should be the most important to us. But, he said, our spiritual occupation, our spiritual concern must be the material well-being of everyone around us. This is what Rabbi Salanter says. Jewish spirituality is not up somewhere in heaven. It's not a thought. It's not a feeling. Jewish spirituality means that we go back to the world and there try to make it right, try to make it better, try to make it tzedek, try to make it fair. So we just read on Torah. We went from the first Torah, the first reading that speaks about holiness, be holy because I, God, am holy. And we go from holiness to the corners of our fields, to our harvest, to the dirt from which we grow our food. And this is exactly the point of this Torah portion. That you want to do holy? Well, we do holy in our economy. If you want to do holy and spiritual, treat your lowest paid worker, as the Torah says, with fairness. Don't oppress them. You want to do something holy? Well, let's work on our safety net. Torah portion speaks about preparing the corners of the field in 4 different ways to provide for the needs that are going to come up, because there always will be needy. That's holy, preparing those corners of the field. Holy is our law enforcement. When we do what Torah says and we treat everyone equally, the outsider as well, the foreigner, those who look different, sound different. On Yom Kippur, we come to synagogues, and this is a holy day. We come here for holiness, and Torah tells us, not here. Here, you'll get the inspiration, you'll get the guide. But you want holiness, spiritual life? Go back to your place of work. Go back to your neighborhood, to your school. That's when you do holiness. Go back to your workers, to your economy, to your policies, to your wages. Does everybody have a living wage? Do that. That will be holy work. And also, you want to do holy? When we go back to our screens and TVs and the news and see politicians and officers who are perverting justice, well, holy means to not just look at that, but actually take the next step and do something about that. Sometimes we think that we're doing justice, but we're not doing exactly that. About 3 years ago, a very small group of local clergy from different traditions, different communities, met in Raleigh to discuss some crisis, some emergency, some need that was there in the community. And the shared feeling was, we're tired. We're tired of always rushing to try to bring some relief to a crisis when we could have prevented that crisis from happening in the first place. We were tired of rushing to bring food for those who don't have it, and yet don't do anything so that they will have food the next day and they wouldn't need ours. And this is what we learned collectively, this group of clergy. What we learned is that we are very good at doing acts of relief, acts of service, acts of kindness. Somebody's hungry, we collect food and bring it to them. Somebody's in a fire, we go and take care of the wounded. But who's taking care of the fire? The fire is still there, and more wounded will come next time. We bring food to a food bank. What's going to happen next week, next month? Who's going to make it so that working families don't even need a food bank? So we realize that acts of service and kindness, wonderful as they are, they don't bring change. And we're going to have to keep doing time after time. And so we realize, well, let's protest. And let's be active, and let's go to the streets, and we have done that. And then we realize that, yes, we speak with a loud voice, and a few days later, a few weeks later, that fizzles, and life continues, and the problems are still there, no matter how hard we protested. So what we learn is that there's only one way forward, and that way is organizing. And by organizing, what we mean is not to organize to rush after the fire to see who we can help, but organize today, tomorrow, every day, every week, building coalitions. It's wonderful to see how many people from all walks of life, from all religions, colors, races, ethnic origins, share the exact same values that we have. Everybody wants to see every child having an opportunity, having a good education, no matter which zip code they live in. Everybody wants to see hardworking people being able to have the security of a roof and food. We all want that. But we have been, for a long time, a silent majority. And organizing means that we be silent no more. And this is what we've been doing here in Wake County. People have been doing in other places, and we learn from them. And we have created, we in Bet Shalom also are a part of those who created this coalition we call One Wake. Already over 40 different institutions, congregations, churches, mosques, non-religious institutions. And we work together. This is how we move forward. We do not rise when there's some tragedy that we see or some terrible injustice to protest the next day. We do that, but we'll work on our alliances, on creating our values, our agendas, and having a voice on any regular Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. This is a coalition where we are really finding true allies. And this is a coalition that actually can speak literally for those who don't have a voice. Just recently, 3 weeks ago, there's a trailer park in Cary called Las Americas. And these are people who are at risk of homelessness and back and forth into homelessness. Las Americas sounds Spanish speaking. Many people don't speak much English. Many people do not even have legal status. Many do. And they work very hard. And they're easy prey for the landlords. They don't get titles for the homes they buy. They don't get basic services. And this is right here in the heart of Cary, the affluent Cary. One Wake and our coalition with others, we did one small, simple thing. We brought all our voices. You can imagine 40 different congregations representing roughly 25, maybe 30,000 people in Wake County that vote. And we went and spoke with the Attorney General and said, "You want to do something about this?" And the Attorney General did. It's a wonderful Attorney General. He's celebrating Yom Kippur too as well today. And that's exactly how it works. And things are beginning to be better for these people. These who are in the margins and outsiders, well, are being now heard for the first time. And they find that actually there are officers who want to do the right thing, but they're so busy with so many other things. We needed to bring that to their attention and also to hold them accountable. And this is what we do. This is the whole idea of organizing in our coalition. We are here for the long term. We've been working together for 3 years, and we're not going to stop because this is a way for our congregations to have a voice. I dare to speak for my non-Jewish clergy friends, Catholic and Muslim. I'm sure they will agree with me. The holy work that we speak about and learn in our synagogue, in our churches, and in our mosque, that holy work is done there. When we prepare the four corners of our fields to provide for those who need to, when we do what the last words that I just chanted, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, which is not love your fellow as yourself, that sounds too hard. The good translation means love for your neighbor what you love for yourself. I love for myself to have kids with a good school. I should love that for every one of my neighbors. I love that I have the security of a home and I'm not facing eviction. I should love that to be the case for everyone in my city, in my town, in my county. So this is what we're doing, and I want to invite you specifically one day to do this holy. We know today is Yom Kippur, today is a holy day, but we learn from this Torah portion that holy is not something that happens in a day or that happens in a synagogue. Holy is when we step up to do what's right, what's fair. And we have an opportunity to do that, very important opportunity, on October 13. And of course, I will share all this information with you. October 13, after 3 years of working, creating our coalition and our voices and talking to people in government and finding from our community, we did a listening campaign. We have thousands of one-on-one conversations to hear what really are the needs, the wants, and the values of our community. So after 3 years of doing all of that, we are going to get together. The plan was to be together in person. We'll be together through Zoom. And our goal is to have 2,000 people on one Zoom meeting. That will be a record. Attorney General Stein, in a meeting 2 weeks ago, he challenged us. He says, "Really? 2,000 people? You show me that." And he said that right after recognizing how about 2 months ago, we brought 600 people to a county commissioners meeting on a Monday morning. That was a record of citizen engagement ever in a county commissioners meeting. And we were there through Zoom, 600 people, to say just one thing. allocate the resources, not just from the corners of our fields, but from our budgets, from our city, from our town, from our federal budgets, allocate the resources to help all those who are now facing evictions or are being evicted because of this pandemic and the terrible impact on our families. And that happened, and that did, and millions were allocated for that. So speaking up and holding people accountable to what they promise us, it happens, but it only happens when we show up and we are there. So October 13 will be a holy moment for all of us, and I urge you to be there. Just log on your computer and see how wonderful it is to see this amazing coalition. This is thousands of people from all walks of life sharing our same values and doing something about it. And that, of course, will not be the last day, but that's a great beginning. And I believe that if we begin to do things like that, our year can be different because we can make it different. So this is the holy task, and this is, quite frankly, in the words of Torah, the holy ask. This Torah portion started with a request from you, coming from God. Kedoshim tihiyu, be holy, just like I am holy. That's a big ask, but we can do it. And the most important part, let's just show up. Let's be there. Let's take the time. Let's be there on a day when nothing is burning around us, but we know that the fires will still be coming.